Sorry about that. Someone was dropping something off on me. Anyway, the conclusion of the API. Roger Roger burned down Dan's restaurant, and he started off in Dan's restaurant, but he's planning on the fire spreading to his restaurant too, because like I say, them are right next to each other. So, and the thing is, honestly, I think Roger was just jealous of Dan's success, and I mean the meta reason is status quo, but in storyline, I think Roger was just jealous. But the reason he gives is, what if we make it the exact same as Dan's childhood? Because the joke with the restaurant and Yada in the church is that they blow up. And Dan says it's here, he's some sort of natural gas leak. They really need to start building there. But yeah, Dan gets reasonably upset, then goes to attack Roger. Roger pulls out a gun, and then the episode ends. Yeah, like I say, not the most satisfying. I mean, it is the most satisfying of reasons. If they had a better reason, maybe the episode wouldn't have fallen so flat for me. But I understand status quo, meta context and all that. The B plot. Excuse me. The thing I really, there we go. The thing I really want to focus on, the Azzy subplot. This new goal approaches Steve and propositions him, shall we say. And see that, oh, I'd love to go on a date with you if you bring a friend for Julia, my friend that I was gonna hang out with. I had already made plans with her. So Steve does not go to Azzy's house, and they meet Azzy and they meet Julia. Lo and behold, Julia's a doll, and a really creepy one too. I mean, an Annabelle, sort of an Annabelle type that those old porcelain dolls you'd find. And like I say, this so psychologically interesting to me, but we'll get there when we get there. Though they try to explain to her, Nod and then Steve, they try to explain it, well, you know that's a doll, right? But Aggie kisses them, so Steve zoned out and says, Julia seems great, and her and Julian's Nod gives them some privacy. Well, before anything can really get going, so to speak, Nod goes to the bathroom. Julia, who's a doll, by the way. That's very important for the subtext. So Julia's on the bed, not in the bathroom. Nod is zipping up his fly, and as he hears something, yeah, I can say the psychosis because I don't think that's really anything to hear. So they check on Julia because Athy wants to, and Julia and the Julia that only Athy can hear. She says that Snot took advantage of her, for, so to speak. Didn't use protection, anything, so took advantage of her like that. And crucially, I want you to keep this in mind for later. Crucially, this happened before anything can really get going, before Athy and Steve. Between Athy and Steve, Julia cries. That's not seemingly took advantage of her. And you may see where I'm going with this by now. That first part is so interesting, but the second part, Steve goes to say, "Hey, Athy, it was an accident. Not feel very bad. We're sorry that happened." And he says, "Oh, I know. Don't worry." Julia says he was the one who jumped him. So Steve tried to get this going again. Sing with Athy, and Athy said, "Oh, I just need to spend all the time with I just need to spend all my time with Julia, period 8." And she whispered this. She decided not to keep the baby. So Julia was pregnant, and at the so they go to Planned Parenthood. The stand in for Planned Parenthood in the world to get an abortion for Julia. And so it's not Father Lynn, not Carrie Van. And they didn't really do anything. I doubt not even told the doctors what was happening. So apparently he gave his number, and the girl wasn't crying and came outside. That's all other kettle fish that I'm not gonna get into. So Julia has an abortion, and toward the end of it, Steve propositions Steve tried to proposition Athy again, but Athy says, "No, I'm just focused on Julia right now." No, basically. And then at the end, Steve does not stage a suicide for Athy. And Steve has, I think Steve has suicide note in pocket actually, and he reads it off, and that seems a little weird on the surface, but like I say, so psychologically interesting if you think about it more. I think Athy was taken advantage of. I mean, eerie enough with the circumstances surrounding her death that are coming out. But I think Athy was taken advantage of as a young girl, as a young kid, maybe carried on into her teenage years, where she got pregnant. And see, someone forced her to get an abortion, or she got an abortion when the other happened. And the ending, where Julia commits suicide, obviously in this episode, as he doesn't commit suicide, as he's still alive and kicking. That's the death of her childhood. That's the death of her childhood innocence right there at the hands of whoever took advantage of her. And I always thought it'd be so interesting if we came back to Hattie. But, I mean, of course they could recast it if they want to. But indeed now we won't get to because of the tragedy that happened. Ironic and eerie that this episode Penn to Tear the Eye, Peter Tear the Eye, seem to mirror each other. That's interesting and maybe not so much coincidence, but I'll leave that up for you to decide. Thank you for listening to my review. I know it's kind of all over the place, but I am going to start reviewing American Dad. Maybe it does well. If it doesn't do well, I'm hoping it does well. Sorry for the angle. Just to tag on the end here. Sorry for the angle. My laptop camera isn't working, so I can't do videos like I normally do. So I had to do it on my phone. But again, thank you for listening to my review, and I'll see you when I see you.